I hope everyone is staying more or less cool, relatively speaking, with the weather that we've been having. With the last two meetings, we've had a pretty light turnout here. One of the concerns that we've had on the CapMac board is that we're not getting a lot of members showing up for the in-person meeting. So something to reconsider whether we're going to do it on a regular basis going forward or simply make our in-person meetings maybe a quarterly social event. I'd like to get some feedback from you all who are out there this afternoon as to what you feel about that. So just let me speak up now or send me an email as to what you think. We do have coming up in September, we have a conflict with the site here at Pokey Joe's. So we'll only have a virtual meeting in September. So one thought was to perhaps look at September as a social meeting somewhere. So again, if you have some thoughts about that one way or the other, let the board know so we can take the appropriate action. We look at our normal first announcement page and everything, including members. The only thing that's really changed there is that our membership was up to 59 as the result of last month. If we're looking at what we're going to do this tonight, we have a few things business-wise and announcements to make. Then our own Nancy Gravely is going to talk about how to remove the background from a photo. Sounds like something I'd like to do on occasion, so that sounds interesting. And then, of course, the main program is going to be by Nathan Lott, and he's going to talk about how to scan with your Apple device. Well, it sounds like it's time for Nancy to talk about how to edit a photo and remove the background.
Hello, everybody. It's been an interesting time. There is the coolest new opportunity on your iOS devices that lets you completely remove the background of any picture or image from the web that you may have with literally a flick of your finger. And what I'm going to do is just give you the highlights. I'm just going to go over the basics and give you the highlights, and then I have a handout. And when Tom gets it from me, he's going to put it up on the share thing so that y'all can get it if you're interested in it. And the people here, I have a printed copy. So there you go. First of all, as I said, I'm just giving you the highlights. If you want to remove the background on your phone from any image, including a picture from Safari, you put your finger on the part that you want to keep. Like in this case, it would be the little bear. And when you do that, you'll see some stuff, white lights moving all around your image. And then when you take up your finger, you'll see, as illustrated on the left, it says to copy or share. All right. And then once you get the message that says copy or share, you click on share and send it to your iMessage app. And then it can go anywhere you want to. Now, in the handout that I've got, there's a few more details, but that's the basic concept. Okay, can we go to the next one? Okay, this is an example of a picture that came off the internet. And again, the process is the same. You're going to touch the part that you want to keep, like the bird or the butterfly, and you'll see it go wiggly, wiggly, wiggly around it. And then as soon as you do, you're going to get a message that says share or whatever. And then you send it to yourself on messages. And from there, you can, send it to work on it on your computer. You can do anything you want to. So the last thing that I want to talk about is this one. The difference in this is that it will let you take away the background and then add in your own color background to make it look like a finished product. Think as if we were going to put John's picture and some other board members' pictures up on our website. I hope you will agree that the one on the right looks a whole lot more professional than the one on the left. The instructions, the instructions for using this are more complicated. They're not hard. They're just, you just have to follow the steps one at a time, and it's included in the handout exactly how you do it. But you have to get Preview Mini from the iOS App Store, costs 99 cents, and you'll be able to do all these things that I'm talking about. For people who are crafty, who like to make cards, who want to put something new on the website, this is a real neat feature. Now, we're having a little trouble getting the handout in the share for you guys. We'll keep working on it. Anybody have any questions?
Well, thank you, Nancy. As she was talking, I tried it, and it's a pretty simple process to extract things from photos. And I'm sure several of us are going to find that useful.
I discovered it by accident last Saturday and got a great shot of Tom with his great granddaughter without a background, and turned the background black, and it's very outstanding.
Yeah, Terry was just saying this also works very well on the Mac, using photos on the Mac. So it's on all the platforms, and I can see how this could be very useful for adding things into the newsletter and so forth. Yes.
Yes. Once you add it to your iPad and you pay 99 cents, can you add it to your iMac and all? Oh, okay. You can to the iPhone.
Well, I didn't order or pay for anything. I just used my iPhone as it was.
No, he's talking about adding the new background, the colors, without all the other jumbled articles behind the.
Well, I did that too, but it just voluntarily jumped up a black background instead of white. I didn't notice that there were choices. Maybe you do have to get something. Never mind.
I think there was a question in there too about, is this for iOS only?
The only way that you can get the color background choices is by downloading Preview Mini, and it only works in iOS 16 and greater. So if you do it just with the regular method, you're only going to get a black background. But if you want to add in color, then you just have to use the app. And again, all the instructions are in the excuse me, are in the handout. Does that answer your question?
Any other questions? How about out there in virtual land? All right. Well, it sounds like we've got finished with this topic, and it's about time for me to hand things over to Nathan for him to talk to us about how to scan with your Apple device.
Hello, everybody. So this is inspired by a question from Nancy Gravely of wanting to do a session on mobile scanning. She talked about iScanner, and I downloaded it and paid for the subscription, and it is a fantastic app. So I'm going to be showing that one as well. But first, let me go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to talk first about some of the built-in options in Mac OS. But first, let's go talk a little bit about accessories. So this is kind of a little bit overkill, but I have my phone on a tripod and on a phone mount. I prefer a phone mount called the Glyph, GLIF. And then I've scanned hundreds of pages of sheet music and music books with my iPhone. But there's also this is called a LumiCube. If you can see my thumbnail, it's a tiny little LED light. And it chose now for the battery to run out, which is great. But it's nice because the back of it is magnetic, so you can stick it to anything metal, or it also has a tripod mount, and it is very bright. Now, one of the things that was added in, I think, the one right before Ventura, Monterey maybe, is continuity camera. So if you're in notes or anything that Apple makes, so notes, preview, pages, numbers, keynote, freeform, mail, messages. And I'll go ahead and create a new note. And when you right click, there's a section called Insert from iPhone or iPad. And so you can take a photo with your iPhone, scan document with your iPhone, or add a sketch, take a photo with your iPad, scan a document or add a sketch, and whatever iPads you have in the house or iPhones. So I'm going to do scan document. And you can see on my phone, it is turned into a camera. So I'm going to scan, I had my car maintenance today. So I scanned in the receipt, and I'm going to click on save. And now that is in notes on my Mac. I can bring it up large. And one of the cool things is there's this thing called live text. So I can highlight the address. Maybe. Why isn't it working? Oh, there it is. I guess it has to be small. Let's see if I can. Yeah, there it goes. And if I click on the little down arrow next to it, I can show the address. So I'll show it on the map where it is. I can open it in Maps. I can also click on the phone number, and I can call it using my iPhone, or I can FaceTime or send a text message if it's a text message, or add it to my contacts. I can also do the same thing with the email. I can compose an email to Anderson Garage. Or I can click on the web address and go to its website in Safari. And this is all from a PDF. You can also notice that the cursor turns into a selectable cursor, so I can take this and copy it. And paste it to a new note. And so this is using both continuity camera to get the scan from your iPhone into your computer. And then it's also using live text to interact with the different text features in the document. This also works with photos. So if you allow me to take a little side jag into photos, you can grab any text and copy it, or look it up, or search with Google, and then take it in there and paste it in notes or any other document. Or this works as I said, in Pages, Numbers, Keynote, anything that Apple makes. If there's a phone number or an address, it will also find that within a photo also.
Nathan,
Yeah.
is there anything you have to turn on to enable this functionality?
No, it is it only works in the later operating systems.
Hmm.
I think it started in Monterey, I'm not sure. The one before Ventura.
Wow, that's pretty good. Built-in OCR.
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting. So if you see a photograph and it has a language, say like German or Italian, can you drag over it and then say translate? I've been using that with
I have an
text.
example for you. Let me go down to I took this screenshot of Facebook. So here's a line in Spanish. I can translate it. And so that works great as well.
Wow.
So that is one way to scan your photos or scan your documents in to Notes or Pages or Keynote. So like in Keynote, you everywhere you see this import from my phone or iPad, you can take a photo, scan a document, or add a sketch. That's in Keynote. You can go to even Freeform, the new one has it.
So is Freeform an included app?
Yes, it's made by Apple. I think you do have to download it if you want it.
Oh. What kind of hardware are you running on?
I am on an M1 Mac Mini.
Wow, terrific.
And it even lets you do it in mail. So if you do a new document in mail, you can do the same thing. Take a photo, scan a document, or add sketch. Now let's talk about some of the third-party apps. And I wanted to start with the one that Nancy recommended last time called iScanner. So in order to start a scan, you press on the plus button and you can import it from your camera, from your photos, or you can just scan it by pointing your phone to a document. Oops. Let's do camera. And it's on auto, so it's going to detect the borders. And once it detects the borders, it's automatically scanning. You don't have to press any buttons. You just set it up right above it, and it already took the picture. So you can get through a book quickly. So that's already 3 pages scanned. You can see that at the bottom. When I click on it, I have the original, a black and white, and you can adjust the darkness and or lightness. You have bright, auto color, or grayscale. And I have 3 pages that I have scanned. Let's go to grayscale, and then you can apply it to all pages. So that's your color. You can crop. So if you can, like if it didn't get the whole page you wanted, or you don't want the whole page scanned, you can adjust the little bars. Auto or undo.
Can you
You can-
adjust the size of the image on your new document?
You mean the file size?
Correct.
No, but I can show you a way you can do that later.
Thank you.
You can rotate it, enhance it, so straighten things up. If there's like there's my finger. Let's see if it'll get rid of that. Yep, I got it. And then if it's a little bit blurry, it can try to de-blur it, or you can revert back to the original page. And then when you're done, then you can save. When you tap where it says documents to rename it, or this is the type of document it is, sorry. You can either do it as a document, ID card, or passport. So this is a document. So click on done. And then I can click on where it says July 11th, doc 2 and rename it. Ukulele book. You can save it as a PDF, JPEG, doc, text, Excel, or PowerPoint. And I got to that by this little share button right here. The square with the arrow coming out of it is the iPhone symbol for share. So I'm going to save it as a PDF. And then I'll bring up a share sheet to ask where I want to save it as. And I'm just going to save it to my Files app. iCloud Drive. And click on Save. While we're here, there's some other things you can do. You can add a signature. So you can draw it recognize it. So if you have a document that has your signature on it that you signed and then scanned in, it will recognize that you signed it. You can type it in, take a picture of your signature with the camera, or bring it in from photos. You can insert anything like shapes, camera photos, or what you take with the camera, or photos from your photo library. The adjustments is what we talked about earlier. Again, marking things up. You can highlight, underline. So if I wanted to highlight this text, you can do that. Or if there's like this little blemish here, I think is from the next page. We can see if we can just make that a little bigger. And just color all that white. The other one I'm going to get to does a lot better with this removal stuff. And so that's how you scan a document with this. So if I go back to the Mac, let me hide my phone and go into iCloud Drive. Hopefully it's in by now. There it is, ukulele book. And this is in preview on the Mac. Okay. Now, the cool thing about this eye scanner is that it has other actions. So, of course, you can scan documents, but it has some other things you can do with it. Like, it supposedly will count things. Now, I've never gotten this to work right, but I can show you kind of how it would work. I'm going to bring some quarters. And then I'm going to take the picture. Let's get my foot. Then it says tap the object that you want. So I'll take that and click on count. And it says there are 39. I think there's some that it's missed. Or like all of these that it's missed.
I think it's a nice touch that it enumerates the ones that it does see.
Yeah.
That's
And then
interesting.
then you can actually tap on it to add.
You know, that's interesting. I wondered what was going to happen up there between 12 and 13 or 14 and 16 now. There are two that are overlapping slightly. I wondered if it would be able to do the edge separation on that. And apparently not.
No. So that's counting. Then there's also finding the area of something. So I can take my computer monitor.
Hmm.
Yeah, and that didn't start right. Yeah, that wasn't great.
Hmm.
But you get the idea. For math equations, it's kind of interesting. Let's see.
Okay.
So it recognized it, and then it does the solution for you.
Wow.
Now it's been a while since I took this, so I'm not sure if it's, I guess it's correct. And then it saves it as a document if you want. Then of course you can scan your ID cards and passports and all of that. It does do some OCR. So let's take this one, for example. And this button right here is the text recognition. So it had some little glitches, but for the most part, it was able to translate the text. So that is iScanner. And I think this is a lot more useful than, see, I have a regular scanner also. I have this all-in-one printer scanner, and I think it would take a lot longer to open up the tray, put your stuff down, close it, scan, open it up, put in another page in, close it, scan. This is a lot faster too. If you want to get like 100-page book done. And it doesn't need to be perfectly evened out. As I will show you, let me get rid of this. so these are pages that I've scanned using my phone, using the other app I'm going to talk about called Reader or Scanner Pro. And this is just using my phone and some clips to hold the book open and some light so I don't get shadows. But so it's much easier to do than if I were to use that flatbed scanner.
What was the blue dot that we saw briefly in some of those sheets?
Like this.
Yes, sir.
This is a fantastic music reading app called Fourscore. And what this is I don't know if you know anything about music, you know that this is a repeat sign. So it goes back to the repeat. This is a link that will take you back to where the repeat starts. So when I play, I can just tap that button and it goes back to the repeat sign. Now let's talk about Scanner Pro by Riaddle. That's the other one. That's the one I've been using for all of these songbooks. Although I may be switching to iScanner after playing with it this last week, after Nancy recommended it. So this is Scanner Pro. It keeps all of your scans unless you get rid of them. I have my COVID cards and vaccine cards, recipes. And other things.
Should handle a recipe card that's front and back.
It would just make it 2 pages.
Okay.
So Nathan,
Yes.
how do you store them once you scan them, like the COVID or the vaccine cards? Do you?
So with Scanner, it will automatically go to where you tell it to. So mine automatically goes into iCloud, or if you have Dropbox, it will go into Dropbox or wherever you tell it to save to.
So I put mine in photos, and then I went in and did get info and changed the date so that I could change the year to like 2025. So it always shows up as the most recent one when I go into photos. I mean, it's because it hadn't happened yet. So in other words, it's easy to find because it's always at the very end in my library.
That's a good tip. Now, this one, again, you press the plus button to scan. This doesn't, I think the automatic auto capture is better with iScanner. This one, I've always just used manual mode, and that's just lining things up and actually pressing the button. And it will detect the borders. And if not, you can always move those around. And then press on the check to save it if you like it. So there's your, and I guess this new one is now detected that it's a music sheet. Again, you can tap the above the title to change the name or rename it. It has adding pages, search, share, edit, and also does some text recognition. Yeah, it should have got the title. When it did. This one will allow you to set a password on it. Or Rialto makes another program called PDF Expert, which is a reader for all your PDFs. So then when you're done, it automatically uploads it to the cloud. So mine is set to auto upload to Dropbox and the scores, because I mainly do music scores. You can enable or disable text recognition. So if you do mostly documents that have text, you might want to turn that on and see if the OCR works for you.
Nathan, can you get it to store different types of documents in different places?
I guess you could. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Probably have to use Hazel at that point. I'm interested that they don't have iCloud as an option. But I think I have been saving it to iCloud.
One of those selections was shadow remover. One of the drop downs you went to.
Yes. So
that
yes,
would be so handy because it's hard to take a picture without the iPhone getting in the way.
Yeah.
So for example, if I think I have some examples of like here's one. This button right here is the removal tool. And oops.
Well, there was a drop down, a thing where you had a sliders where you could select various functionality, and one of them was shadow remover. So it's probably more automatic. You went through it just you must have. Yeah, shadow remover down there almost
automatically remove shadows from your newly scanned documents. Could lead to image distortion.
Yeah,
I have that turned on.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, here it is. Store scans in iCloud Drive.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had my mic flipped up on my head, so I'm sorry if you couldn't hear that.
I could barely hear it.
Yeah, well, Peter was in the other room and he alerted me. There, if you ever see my microphone up on my head, that's what's happened.
So that is Scanner Pro. The last thing I wanted to talk about.
And how much is Scanner Pro?
It's free to download and as in-app purchases. I think the it was $28 a year maybe, or a lifetime. I don't remember. If I go to Scanner Pro, let me hide reflector.
Scanner Pro just says get.
Scanner Pro Plus is $29.99. I guess I don't know what all this means. Lots of different prices.
Yeah, it looks like if you want to use it as a fax machine, you can.
Yeah, you probably get different options if you look on your phone.
Mm.
That's pretty interesting. It looks like iScanner is a simple, it does fewer things, but it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah. And that one also is free with in-app purchases. And I did, it was another subscription one.
Hmm.
I think I have a shortcut for, yeah, check my app as subscriptions.
Hmm.
So I'm doing the $9.99 a month for scanner, iScanner.
Mhm.
But there was one more I wanted to show you, and that's for scanning the old type of printed photos. And this is made by Google. Let's see. It's called Photo Scan. Oops. So the way this works is it brings up white dots for each of the edges. So you place the white dot over it, and then it will turn blue. And then you have your photo. Rotate it. You can adjust the corners and then share it out to let's see, you can save it to your photos somehow. See if it automatically did it. Yeah, it automatically did it. And that's a photo scan by Google. And are there any other questions or anything? Because I think that's all I have.
How is your phone connected to the computer?
I have I'm using an app called Reflector 4, and it's being airplayed to the computer.
Hmm.
So I'm going up here and screen mirroring
Mm-hmm.
using Reflector 4.
Oh,
The built-in one, the one that comes with the new Ventura and all that, it creates the phone with a totally black background.
mm. Oh, I see. Oh, and so this overlays whatever you see on the screen.
Yeah.
Ah, got it. Reflector 4. Okay. Oh, is the phone hardwired to the computer?
No, it's a totally wireless.
Oh, got it.
It's
Okay.
an AirPlay.
Yep.
Can you use your mouse or stylus to activate buttons on the image of the phone?
No. See, if I click anywhere, nothing happens. I have to touch it with my fingers on the phone. Oh, you were asking about file sizes. And there's one app that I use on the Mac called PDF Squeezer that's great at this. And all you do is take a PDF. So I'll go into iCloud Drive and let's do some that. Let's see. Let's go to. This is a big one. It's 76 megabytes. And if I drop it into PDF Squeezer,
Oh, is the end product still a PDF?
yes, it's just compressed.
Wow. And so when you view it, there's no decompression. Basically, I guess it just gets rid of white space or whatever.
Yeah.
Hmm. I'm surprised it doesn't make sort of a garbage compactor sound.
That's your homework, Peter.
Well, yeah, okay. Size reduced by 58%. So it took it down from 76
Sure.
megabytes to 31 megabytes.
Wow, that's pretty good. You know, I always thought of PDFs as being pretty compact as they were, but that's remarkable. That's pretty good. Do you see any degradation at all in the quality of the PDF?
So let me save as and we'll compare. So we'll call this
Squished.
reduced.
Yeah.
And I'll save it into iCloud Drive and I'll save it into the ORF.
That's still too much to send through an email, correct?
Yeah, but it's a 122 page document.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still having trouble trying to send big documents out of mail since I upgraded. Well, I haven't upgraded to the latest operating system, but it just won't go. So I'm still trying to
You
solve
might,
that problem.
you might put it into Dropbox or Google Drive and
But it
send a
used
link.
it used to automatically put it up in the cloud and make a link so somebody could download it, and it's not doing it automatically.
Hmm.
All right, so the
Cloud
one.
getting crowded?
But I didn't mean to derail the conversation.
Oh
Go-
no, that's fine. The
It
one on
doesn't-
the left is the reduced one. The one on the right is the original.
Wow, doesn't look much different. That's pretty handy. So what is it that you use to squeeze it?
It's called PDF Squeezer.
That's a pretty clever name. And you have to, it's an app that you have to download?
Yeah, it's in the Mac App Store.
Is it free or 99 cents or?
Let me see.
Oh, well, yeah, I could look. Yeah.
Used to tell you. No, it doesn't tell you the price anymore.
Oh, really?
Well, once you buy it, it never tells you the price.
Oh, because you've already bought it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see if it says on the website.
If you have to ask, you can't afford it. Oh, there you go.
That's not bad.
$20. Yeah, it's worth it. Wow.
I like the little icon, like you're rolling it through two little rollers to come out squeezed.
Yeah, I think that's known as a mangle.
All right. Any other comments, questions?
Yeah, here's a question. Which app is best for scanning photos? 8x10, the 4x6. Let's say you have 100 photos you want to scan. Which app is best, and how would you do it?
You mean best because it looks more like a photo? Because I've scanned some photos and they don't look that great. So I assume you mean quality scan.
Correct.
Yeah, I don't think that Google one would cut it for that.
I mean, I've actually started just trying to take a picture of a picture using my iPhone because sometimes that's better than my scanner.
Yeah, I'm sure there's better stuff out there, but
that could be another meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would just wonder because photo companies charge you to digitize some of your older photos that was taken, let's say 20, 25 years ago, maybe just 10 years ago.
You know, some of the older pictures that I have, they're not that crisp. You know, I don't know what kind of camera my parents were using, but and you know, when you scan them, you want them to. I'm spoiled. I'm used to modern photos.
Yeah.
So I would want something that could scan it and kind of crisp it up somehow. And I'm not sure if that's possible, but.
Yeah, and some of the AI tools and the newer, like I think Photomator has an AI enhanced.
Yeah.
I mean, you can make, if you get it in photos, you can do some things to make it a little better, but
if
that's
you're
good.
If you're using a flatbed scanner, keep in mind that the scanner has parameters for how small it scans. We were doing some pictures that looked really dreadful, and we basically cranked up to 3200 bits per inch because it was 35 millimeter slides that when you blew them up looked really terrible, but because you were scanning them at 72 bits per inch. But when you crank them up to the upper limit, they turned out to really do well.
Huh. Good advice.
Yeah,
put it on like Super Professional or something.
Well, you know, if you're scanning an old family photo that was taken with as a 3x5 with a box camera, the resolution wasn't there to begin with. And most of those were never viewed at any larger than the 3x5 that was the contact print out of the camera. So when you scan that, the information is just not there for the fine detail that you expect now with the modern equipment.
But you
That
can use,
high resolution takes a long time.
so sometimes can't you increase the contrast and get better highlight, and you can kind of,
Yeah, you can adjust a little bit.
You can play with the grayscale, but you're still not going to increase the original resolution.
that's a good point.
If you're trying to read a newspaper that was in the background, you still won't be able to do it. That's why when you went to the professional photographer to have your portrait done, he used a 5x7 view camera. And you know, when we took pictures of the football game or pictures for the school book, we carried around a 2 1/4 Rolleiflex or a 4x5 graphic to get the resolution. A good lens, you know, on even a Nikon in the 60s and 70s might only have 50 line pair per millimeter resolution. And now, you know, the cameras on the iPhones are just absolutely amazing.
So I think the gentleman's question was, is it worthwhile to have a bunch of pictures scanned by a service that's set up to do that? Or is there a relatively good way to scan your own? And it sounds like we do have some different approaches. So maybe that would be a good topic for a meeting.
As the fellow said, if you don't scan your 35mm slides at 72 pixels per inch, up it to 3600 if you can do it on your scanner, and then you'll get a pretty good representation of the slide.
Do all scanners do slides, or do you have to have a special slide attachment?
Well, you need something that'll backlight it. I've got an old Epson scanner that unfortunately it goes to, I think, 2400 dots per inch. And it does have an attachment to put slides in place of the document, and it has a backlight.
I've got one that's got a channel in the underside of the lid, and I load the either the Ektachrome or the negatives, either one, into the slide, into the film holder, and just put it up there, and the whole inside of the lid lights up, and you get what you want.
Right, that's what we're talking about. Yeah, right, Dawn. Yeah.
If you have a special Epson's flatbed scanner from even just a few years ago, you're going to have special things that are backlit, that are special carriers for every size film that you have that you are scanning, but it all has to be backlit. Every negative, every slide, and there's different size little carrier sheets that devices that you put down on the flatbed that is especially designed for this, that's backlit. In other words, it's got a light at the top and it's got a light at the bottom. Epson makes them. So
right, the one I'm talking about that I have is an earlier version of that, and it's got carriers for 35mm and for 120 size.
I have 127 carrier. I've got 35
right.
millimeter. I have medium format carriers that all came with the Epson scanner that I have, but it's a pretty, it's not a new Epson scanner, but it was pretty expensive when I bought it. It was like $800, and that was maybe, well, it's worth it. It's a photo scanner, so it has capabilities of all that resolution that you guys are talking about. Whether you're going from a negative or whether you're going from a print, you can get enough data. But it's slow going, because to gather that much data, all those kind of scanners are slow.
And you need a room on your hard drive to store it.
Correct. That's the other thing. File sizes are gigantic.
But if you can get the cellulose, you're getting the best deal, because when that photo is generated from the cellulose, you're still going to lose something. It's like trying to shrink a JPEG file. Every time you do it, it gets a little smaller and a little less.
Well, you scan it as a TIFF, and then you don't lose any data. Every iteration that you have, you never lose data. If you scan it as a TIFF, but then the file sizes are even larger than a JPEG. So when you get through with all the alliterations that you want, then you reduce it down and save it as a JPEG for the
Mhm.
size that you're wanting to print it out.
Mm.
So if you want it for 8x10, you can cut that file size by a lot by making it the last thing you do, a JPEG that's going to be that file size, smaller file size. But you always keep the original. Because you can always go back that way. You always keep the original files so that you originally scanned.
I think Tom Grimm is trying to show us one of the carriers, but he's having a little problem with the
Oh, he's got to get rid of his background.
with the lighting in the background. That's right.
Yeah, get rid of your virtual background, Tom, and we'll probably be able to.
I'm trying to.
I'm just here, so I don't have all that stuff's at home, so I don't carry the scanner around with me.
None.
Show you the carrier, but they all.
Yeah,
they're
that's
very
good.
similar. Yeah.
We can see you now, Tom.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they come, the carriers are, like I said, but the Epson ones are, medium format, 35 millimeter, 127, and slide.
See, this is the one for 35 millimeter film and 2x2 slides.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it slips in somewhere so the light's coming through it.
Yeah, it's got registration marks on this side.
Right, it fits in a certain spot, and there's, like I
Yeah,
said,
Ginger, you just put it the
Right
same
on
place
top,
that
And you
would
put it
put
on the
document.
flatbed scanner.
Oh, you just put it.
If the scanner is going to scan it just like it would a document, except
But-
you're going to have it backlighted by the light in the lid.
Oh, you gotta have a light and a lid.
Yeah.
Okay, I just have a little Canon scanner now. I used to have a scanner that had those little attachments, but I never got around to doing the hard work.
Y'all know how to combine 2 or more PDFs in preview?
That would be a good thing to have a refresh on.
So if I go into, I have a piece of sheet music in preview, and you have to have over here in this little drop down, you have to have thumbnails. And so I'm going to open up another document, and you can just, all you do is select the pages and drag them in, and now you've gone from a 2-page document to a 4-page document.
So this is real handy because I have some PDFs where I kind of, they're separate, because I didn't know how to make a multi-page thing. So I've got page 1, page 2, page 3. I can open them and put them all in one document because they were like a letter, multi-page letter from a family newsletter. So that would be a way to make it one PDF to send to somebody instead of 4 little deals.
You can tell us again how you did that.
Okay, I'll start over. So I have a 2-page PDF. I make sure that this sidebar is on thumbnails. I want to see the thumbnails on the side. And then I open up a new document. Also make sure that thumbnails is shown. And I just drag it in there.
Wow.
So now I have a 3-page document.
And you need to make sure you save that one with the 3 pages.
Yes, and I just save that as something else.
By the same token, can you say, could you delete page 2 just by selecting it and hitting delete or whatever?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, like if you accidentally scan the same page twice,
And
I've
you
done that.
can also Command C and copy it. So make several of the.
Oh, yeah.
You can reorder them or whatever.
Yeah, you can move them around.
Mm.
That's handy.
If you set that up so that if it was going through a printer rather than through the PDF converter, as printing both sides of a page or sheet of paper, does that make it easy for the person who's the recipient, or does it matter? if they wanted to print two sides on a sheet.
I think it depends what
Doesn't
kind of
matter.
document it is. If it's just text, then sure.
It just depends upon their printer, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And my printer is very easy for to print double sided.
Oh yeah, mine too. Yeah. I love my Canon.
Well, I really like Nancy's trick of making, putting your finger on a image and it pulls it out. I've already sent Peter a couple copies of our cat just floating in white space, but he's been paying so much attention that he hasn't seen him yet.
Has the cat noticed?
No, well, the cat pretty much, any space he wants to be.
Does anyone have good advice about the rapid security update on the iOS that came and went?
Do it.
Do it? They pulled it.
Yeah, well, some people are complaining about problems after doing it. My son did it and he had big problems with Safari. So apparently they pulled it without us having to do anything. But later on this afternoon, a message came out on how to do it yourself if you wanted to.
I did it yesterday and it hadn't been a problem, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're going to have a revised version, like with a B after it, in the next day or so.
Yeah. Does anybody know what they were trying to kill?
I think it was a security update.
Well, I got that part.
I think there was some exploit that was already in the wild,
Oh, like a 0 day or something.
something like that.
Okay.